incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II, following the bombing of Pearl Harbor, is considered one of the most insidious acts committed by the United States federal government due to its unconstitutional violation of human rights, such as lack of due process. It created lasting effects on Japanese communities, as families were forcibly removed and separated. One such community was Sawtell, Japantown, commonly referred to as Little Osaka by locals. Its modern incarnation as a small but thriving district with a prominent Japanese American community has its roots in the late 1890s. At that time, first generation immigrants, or the Issei, were prohibited from buying real estate in many areas of California, with one exception being West Los Angeles near Sawtell.
By 1910, a burgeoning Japanese community had formed. It was an ideal place to start a business, which the first of the Hashimoto brothers realized once he settled there. He summoned 3 of his brothers to join him, and in 1928 they opened OK Nursery in the same location it is today. By the time World War II began, the brothers had gone their separate ways. 2 of them returned to Japan. The 3 remaining brothers ran the nursery until the bombing of Pearl Harbor, after which they were incarcerated at Manzanar. They were able to resume their business immediately after their release due to Mexican acquaintances who looked after it in their absence. The nursery was then renamed Hashimoto Nursery. In 1961, the brothers who had left for Japan returned, and all 4 continued to work together for some time.
Today, the Hashimoto Nursery in Sawtell is still in operation and is the oldest nursery in the district. Currently run by Yotaro Hashimoto, who moved to Japan in 1959, they continue to provide quality plants and friendly service to the West Side, as they have been for the last 80 years.
Due to its history and location, we feel that Hashimoto Nursery would be the perfect place for a new memorial commemorating the Japanese internment. The Sawtell area of Los Angeles has a considerable Japanese American population, yet there is no memorial to the internment anywhere in the neighborhood. Although it might seem conflicting for a memorial to be found in a place of business, we feel like it is perfect symbolism for remembrance. The internment is always present in the lives of Japanese Americans.
The only way to enter this memorial is through the rose-thorn-covered torii gateway. Torii gateways represent a transition from profane to sacred. The thorns that cover it are our most subtle and safe take on barbed wire, a common paradigmatic symbol of the internment.
Among the outside of the circumambulatory path lies plants that are all sold within Hashimoto Nursery. However, there is a certain progression to them, with native Japanese plants being found on the left side, and Native American plants being found on the right side. This represents the different generations of the Japanese Americans. The Issei were almost entirely Japanese in nature, while the Sansei, or third generation, are almost entirely Americanized. Towards the middle of the path there is an overlap in the placement of the Japanese and American plants, a representation of the Nisei, or second generation, whose identities were a little bit more obscured, especially after the internment.
Inside of the inner circle are 5 small Japanese rock gardens. Rock gardens serve as an aid for meditation, which is the ideal atmosphere for this memorial. Included in the inner circle is a bench encircling a cherry blossom tree. While the bench serves a practical purpose as a resting place for visitors, the cherry blossom tree represents the beauty and the fragility of life. For a few weeks every year the tree blossoms. It is a beautiful sight, but it doesn't last long, symbolizing the transience of life. This memorial will serve as a reminder of the past, and despite any negative attributions, it also entreats visitors to look toward the future.
One of the main sites of this memorial are 2 sculptures that we plan on erecting inside of the inner circle. Both sculptures are composed of a set of hands supporting a ceramic building, which will be created using the Japanese art of kintsugi. Kintsugi repairs broken ceramics with lacquer mixed with gold, silver, or platinum dust. Instead of treating the breakage as a fault, it is seen as part of the object's history, not something to be hidden. Our first sculpture, located on the left side of the entrance to the memorial, twists this meaning. We have a pair of hands springing up from the ground in a very unnatural way, almost reaching for help. The hands hold up a kintsugi figurine of a barrack, although this is corrupted. Instead of the standard gold lacquer holding the ceramic together, the lacquer is in the form of barbed wire.
The second kintsugi sculpture is more traditional in nature. This sculpture is also held up by hands, but these are in an open palm, meditative, semi-dhyana mudra position. The sculpture itself is the iconic American Foursquare house, representing the American dream. It was shattered by the interment, but the process of healing has begun.
Although smaller in size than many other remembrance sites, we feel that the location and themes present in this memorial prevent it from feeling redundant. The past should be recalled, not only to remember what was, but also to prevent what could happen again.